Hey friends, Damage Zombie here, and today is the pre-release for Bloomburrow. I picked up the animated Army one, so it's super tempting to buy them all, but money. And I didn't go with Squirreled Away, the green-black token deck, because I have a lot of token decks, it turns out. And even though green seems to be one of the most common colors in my commander decks these days, when it used to be blue, black, red, currently now every other commander deck I have has green. But look at this cute little guy. Raccoon looking all cute as hell there. That's right. He's animating things. Specifically, 4-cost enchantments and artifacts. So Bellow the Bard of the Brambles, he says nothing because he's a card. Okay. During your turn, each non-equipment artifact and non-aura enchantment you control with mana value 4 or greater is a 4/4 elemental creature in addition to its other types and has indestructible haste and, quote, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. He himself is a 3/3, and my plan is to show you guys what's in here, take some time to find some singles from my collection that I will use to upgrade this. I did pick up a few when I picked this up, spent a few bucks. Turns out I didn't have an extra copy of Gilded Lotus, 5 mana to tap for 3 of any color. And my plan is to load this bad boy up with mana rocks that can turn into the 4/4 dudes so that I can cast more artifacts, more enchantments, and go ham with the brand bulls. All right, enough bad jokes. Let's check it out. What do we got? Struggles, that's what we got. Let's get in there. All right. We have a black envelope with our deck box. Folding that out. Deck box achieved. And we have a picture of Bellow. Got it. We got our Sample Collector's Booster Pack. Link is providing commentary in the background. You may hear, because he is loud. And we go. Probably loud as Mr. Brambles. I know his name is Bellow, but I'm probably just going to refer to him as Mr. Brambles. Bottom to get to the actual deck. Comes with the usual punch-out tokens. Slide to get Precon cards, and Bellow, Bard of the Brambles. Instructions with a little bit of artwork probably. And sadly, it looks like this one does not have the thick commander card. So no bonus commander card. Boo. Alright. Trash, be gone. To the floor. Alright, let's check out what we get with our Precon animated. Don't want that either, because that's going to be trash too. Let's be real. Does anyone actually hold on to those? I don't. Maybe someone does, but not this guy. Open. I'll clean you up after I'm done recording. So we start out with, of course, Bellow. Then we get a Wild Seer Scouring Maw. So this guy is going to give our enchantment cards that we cast from our hand, Cascade. Spicy. Get a Planeswalker, Domri. Anarch Bolus, so our creatures will get 1 and 0. +1 loyalty to get a red or green. Creature spells you cast this turn can't be countered. -2 loyalty to make a creature you control, target creature you control, fights a creature you don't control. Not too bad. Get a copy of Italai Primal Storm. Prosperous Bandit. So, Offspring, that's one of the new mechanics in Bloomburrow. Offspring says, pay a mana. Well, the cost can vary, of course, from card to card, but for this one, pay 1 mana, and as you cast this card, Prosperous Bandit, if you do, create a 1/1 token copy of it. So this guy is a 2/2 first striker, and when it deals combat damage to a player, create that many tapped treasure tokens. So you could potentially, for a total of 3 + 1, so 4 mana, you can get a 2/2 and a 1/1. Not too bad, not too bad. Pyre Swipehawk, That is a 4/4 for 5. And Flying Haste, whenever it attacks, it gets X power until end of turn, where X is the greatest mana value among artifacts you control. Whenever you expand 6, gain control of up to 1 target artifact for as long as you control the Hawk. You expend 6 as long as your 6th total mana to cast spells. Alright, words here. You expend 6 as you spend your 6th total mana to cast spells during your turn. Alright, so once you achieve an accumulative total of 6 mana on your turn being spent for spells, that is that. Interesting. Alchemist Talent, that is an enchantment, which of course costs 4. So this is a enchanted class. It levels up, gain the next level as a sorcery to add its ability. So when the Alchemist Talent enters, we create 2 tap treasure tokens. You can pay 1 and a red to level it up, and treasure tokens have tap that you control. Treasure tokens tap, sacrifice this artifact, and add 2 mana of any one color. Level it up again to level 3 for 4 colorless or 4 of any mana and a red. Whenever you cast a spell, if mana was spent from a treasure, this class deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to each opponent. I'm just noticing that the set symbol for, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this from this far away, but the set symbol looks like a little shield in the shape of a pansy or flower of some kind. Another enchantment, Berserker's Onslaught, 5. Attacking creatures you control have double strike. Outpost Siege, another enchantment. Remember that from Cons. Yep. Reign of Riches, another enchantment. Just going to go a little bit quicker here. Chaos Warp, I'll do a deep dive after I've gone through all this, and then I'm going to pick out some cards. I'll show you guys which one that I decide to cut and which ones I decide to add. So Sunbird's Invocation, another enchantment. Got Starstorm. Gratuitous Violence, that's an old one. That one, yep, doubles damage to permanent or player instead. Nice. And Warstorm Surge, classic. Ooh, that's a cool art for a Lotus Cobra. It's not the cute little snake from Zendikar original, but still pretty cute. Subjective. Evercoat Ursine, got a Elemental Boar. Ooh, Badger. Bright Cat Badger. Trail Tracker Scout. Thickest in the Thicket. Big old dinosaur here. Galta Primal Hunger. Huge. Oh my god, this art. I love this art. Essica's Chariot. It's got some fluffy cats in there. I would say as fluffy as my boy Link, which you may have seen. If not, he might make an appearance. Unnatural Growth enchantment. Greater Good is back. Alright. Kodama of the East Tree. Whoa, that is a big old worm. Grothama All Devouring. Huge. Rampaging Baloths. Bootlegger Stash. Lands you control. It's an artifact. Have tap to create a treasure token. Whoa. Ooh, a favorite of mine. Primeval Bounty. Strong enchantment. Turns out this already had Gilded Lotus, which I needed an extra for another deck anyway. So, whatever. That's right. I needed an extra. Spine of Ishsa. Not sure how I feel about that. I mean, that would become a creature, and it is removal, so we'll see. Then the land package. Temple of Abaddon, Carpulsion Forest, Exotic Orchard, Shelter Thicket, Game Trail, Raging Ravine, Copperline Gorge, Mossfire Valley, Cindergale, Rootbound Crag, Mosswort Bridge. Ooh, here we go. Back to Blasphemous Act spells. Land War Lone Speaker, Tindershot Dryad, Gore Claw, the Terror of Kal Sisma. It's a big bear. Another enchantment with Path of Discovery. Whenever a creature you control enters, it explores. Decimate. I think I have another one of those now. Rolling Hamsphere. Amazing. So we got an artifact that has a picture of some hamsters on top. And it gets 1/1 for each hamster you control. Whenever it attacks, create 3 red, 1/1 red hamster tokens. And then it deals X to any target, where X is the number of hamsters you control. Cute. Teapot Slinger. It's a raccoon warrior. Menace. Explore. Classic. Farseek. Cultivate. That's a cool looking goblin. Grumgully the Generous. So Grumgully is a 3/3 that says each other non-human creature you control enters with an additional 1/1 counter on it. He's holding some fungus for your fungus. Wondertail Mentor. Raccoon Bard. he has the ability to expand 4. Whenever you expand 4, put a 1/1 counter on him. Taps for red or green. Some artifacts here. Thought Vessel, Arcane Signet, another dual type land, Wooded Ridgeline, Big Score, a Braid, Rampant Growth, classics, Sakura Tribe Elder, Beast Within, some classic green removal, Garrick's Pack Leader, Harmonize to draw some cards, Garrick's Uprising, doesn't turn into a creature because it only costs 3, but it is strong. Girl's Signet, Burnish Heart, Hedron Archive, Fellow Stone, Thran Dynamo, Sol Ring, as if there was any doubt that that would be in every deck ever they make. Commander, so far, Mindstone. Talisman for the Gruul, of the Impulse. Then we're back to lands with Terramorphic Expanse, Path of Ancestry, Gruul, Turf, Evolving Wilds, Forgotten Cave, Tranquil Thicket, Command Tower. Ooh, that art, that's cute. Looks like a big treehouse. Reliquary Tower, and then I predict, it looks like we're into the basics. Basic mountains, basic forests. Then we get down to some adorable little treasure tokens. Beast on the back. Hamster token. Cat token. The fluffiest boy. And more hamsters. It's gonna stab you. It's on the back side. More beasts, some saprolings. Fungus. A prosperous bandit, who I guess is adorable. Raccoon rogue. Alright, what do we get inside? Well, first, I'm going to put these in our super high quality cardboard deck box for now. I'm going to open up the collector's sample pack, and we get a token. Get the red blue rare Alania Divergent Storm. It's an otter wizard. Oh, that's cool looking. This guy says whenever you cast a spell, whenever it's the first instant, the first sorcery, or the first otter other than Alania, you cast this turn, you may have target opponent draw a card, and if you do, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. We got a black instant called Feed the Cycle. Cut 1 mana of any color, and black as an additional cost. You may forage, it's a new thing, or pay black. So to forage, you have to exile 3 cards, or exile 3 cards from your graveyard, not bad, or sacrifice a food. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. Alright, so neither one of those is going to get used in our red-green deck, but more cards. Add that to the collection. Alright, stay tuned, and we're going to eep. We're not going to eep. We're going to turn this into upgrades. And, alright, so I've made my cuts. I've already lost track of 2 of the cards that apparently I've already cut and added into the deck, but here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14 cards that I cut from the Precon. I decided to cut Cultivate, Rampant Growth, Explore, Farseek, so the sorcery-based ramp cards, and decided to cut Spine of Ishah, Burnished Heart, Brightcap Badger. He makes saprolings, and then your saprolings and fungus can tap for green mana. Galta Primal Hunger. At the moment, I don't think it really fits with the theme of enchantments and artifacts that I'm wanting to go for. Rampaging Baloths. I'm not going for a token deck specifically. Grothama All Devouring. Seems kind of cool, but I honestly don't know what kind of deck I would want to put that in. Just big, beefy creature type deck, maybe, but we'll see. It might come back. Tender Shoot Dryad, making more saprolings. Again, if I was keeping the other saproling, sure, but I'm not going for tokens. Sakura Tribe Elder, creature mana ramp, maybe, but there's other stuff I wanted. Harmonize, sorcery, draw 3 cards in green. Not terrible, but I wanted to get more enchantments in. And the instant, a Braid, which does 3 damage to target creature or destroy an artifact. I wanted to just have another artifact. So, 12 of the 14 cards that I added. Let's see what I did put. So I added the Doors of Durin, That is a a legendary artifact from Lord of the Rings set. It says whenever you attack, you get to scry 2. Then you may reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, put it onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking. Until your next turn, it gains trample if you control a dwarf, hexproof if you control an elf. There is maybe a couple elves in here, but that part's not the important one. Costs 5 converted mana cost, so it'll turn into a 4/4 at the beginning of combat. Scepter of Eternal Glory from the Warhammer set. It's 4 cost, tap for any color. You can tap for 3 mana of any one color if you control 3 or more lands with the same name, so 4 surrounds for me. Throne of the Eldraine, legendary artifact, costs 5, so again, all of these will turn into the 4/4s from Bellow, so it can tap for 4 of the chosen color because it enters the battlefield, you choose a color, spend this for mono-colored spells only, or I can pay 3 to tap it, draw 2 cards, spend only mana of the chosen color to activate this ability. So I like that better than the Greater Good because it card draw potential, mana, you know. Scrap Shooter, I did get a booster pack, and Scrap Shooter's a new guy, Raccoon Archer for 3. He's a 4/4. He's got the new Gift a Card ability, so I can promise an opponent a gift, meaning if I do, they draw a card. So he's a 4/4 with reach, so that already helps me with flying. But when he enters the battlefield, if a gift was promised, destroy an artifact or enchantment an opponent controls. Stolen Strategy is a 5 cost enchantment from the Fallout one. And at the beginning of my upkeep, exile the top card of each opponent's library. Get to cast spell. You may cast spells from among the exile cards, and you may spend mana as though were any color to cast those spells. So that will also turn into a 4/4. Elven Chorus. Look at the top card of your library at any time. Cast creature spells from the top. Creatures I control have tap, add 1 mana of any color. Also can turn into a guy. Then I've got another enchantment. Court of the Embereth, 2 in double red, so it's 4. When it enters the battlefield, you become a monarch, and at your upkeep, you get to create a 3/1 red knight. If you're the monarch, you deal X damage to each opponent, or X is the number of creatures you control. So, and that checks at, what did I just say? Then at the beginning of your upkeep. So, our commander, Mr. Brambles here, he says during your turn, and your upkeep is during your turn, so all my enchantments and artifacts will be creatures at that time. Civil Unrest, it's 5 total, enchantment in red, non-token creatures you control have Riot. If a creature I control with a 1/1 counter would deal damage to permanent, deals double instead. That might get cut because at the moment I don't have a ton of ways to give my things 1/1 counters, but I'm trying to dig around through my other decks to add some more 1/1 counters in here because it's also an enchantment, and my creatures I do have can Riot. So my mana dorks that I allow to stay in here, I can make them Riot so that they're bigger and potentially can do more damage. Calamity Berserker is a giant berserker, not a dwarf, unfortunately. If a giant source I control would deal damage to a permanent, it deals double that instead. He is a giant. So far, that one's questionable because he's my only giant, but I was trying to find all my cards that double damage. I'll test that out. Right now, that's probably on the chopping block. Dictate of the Twin Gods, enchantment, 3 in double red, so it'll turn into a 4/4. Has flash. If a source I control would deal damage, so not just me. So if a source would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double instead. So that's everybody, not just that I control. Firemine Vessel, 4 mana artifact, comes in tap, but you can tap for 2 mana of different colors, so red, green. And then I've got Composer of Spring. It's a 2-drop Satyr Bard with Constellation, so whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under my control, I may put a land card from my hand into the battlefield tapped. Ooh, sliding. If I control 6 or more enchantments, which is definitely possible, then I can put a creature or land from my hand onto the battlefield tapped. So the giant card, probably going to get cut. Civil Unrest, maybe, got some tweaking to do. I may cut in a few of these others back, but I will hopefully get to test this soon. And if you're interested in how it did or want to know more about it, drop me a comment, let me know. I hopefully will be testing this deck out within the next day or two. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Animated away.